It has a tax fraud component. It has a public corruption component. This has been going on for 2 years, and nobody in the national media took it upon themselves to actually pursue that story. It's a massive disservice to the American public. We need a vibrant media that's, following all of our national leaders and holding them into account. And we don't have that. We have a national media that wants to protect certain powerful figures and wants to go after other public figures. And it's a national tragedy.
You know what's amazing, Peter? Even goes a step further. They were obviously working with the campaign in some witting ways. The campaign gets 50 former national security, quote-unquote, experts to put a letter together and point at Russia. You have commentators and news people all over TV pointing at Russia. You have Rudy Giuliani, who was the conduit between the computer fix-it gentleman, where that laptop was brought and they had the hard drive and they got all these emails and information that point to Joe Biden, and they definitely want to get there later. So what do? They try to destroy Rudy Giuliani's reputation. They mock him. The campaign works with the media with this phony letter that comes out that it must be the Russians that are involved, and here are the Russians again. And then it's 11th hour Trump campaign trick and so forth and so on. So really, the media is not only protecting the campaign is effectively working with the media to put out lies, flat out lies about the circumstances that were taking place.
Yeah, no, you're right, Mark. I mean, look, if this was Russian disinformation, are they suggesting that the IRS and the Department of Justice are part of a Russian disinformation campaign? It's absurd. And there's really two things going on here, Mark, that I think are profoundly important. The first one pertains directly to the Biden case, which is the fact that you had intelligence professionals who clearly had not looked into the Biden's commercial ties with Beijing, had clearly not looked into the fact that the Bidens had no commercial ties to the Chinese. They had no expertise until Joe Biden became vice president. So they didn't look at the details, and they just decided to slap on the title of Russian disinformation. The level of embarrassment, if they have a sense of self-awareness, ought to be enormously high. But there's something even more profound going on here, Mark, that I think is so important. Really since 2016, 2017, it's been Russia, Russia, Russia. Now, clearly, Russia represents some kind of a threat to the United States. No one's suggesting that. But the bigger threat that we face by any calculation, if you talk to the Pentagon, if you talk to the FBI, to the CIA, the biggest challenge we face is China. So what you have is a circumstance where people who frankly know better in the intelligence community on Capitol Hill are engaged in what you have to call a misdirection. They want us to focus over here at Russia when the real threat is China over here. By any measure, Russia's a declining power, China's an ascending power. And yet they've had no interest in talking about China at all. I'll note that, when Joe Biden left the vice presidency in January of 2017, he set up the Biden Center in the University of Pennsylvania. And there's all kinds of questions about, was there, Chinese money that's flowed there? And that's an open discussion and something that needs to be investigated. But look at what they did. They set up the Biden Center, and they said America faces three threats on the global stage today. Those are global warming, international terrorism, and Russia. No mention of China as a threat to the United States by the Biden Center at the University of Pennsylvania. That's the mindset that we're dealing with. I think it has to do with the fact that these commercial ties have been forged, and they don't want to discuss China.
All right, but we do. We will discuss Joe Biden specifically as well when we come back.